One. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Two Worlds podcast. I'm Jake, and with me, as always, is the Hagrid to my Norbert, R.I.P. Robbie Coltrane. It's Casey. What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. I didn't know Eddie Murphy was in the Harry Potter movies.
Oh, different
Because,
Norbert.
oh, okay. I thought
Not a
that
not
thought
a
Nor
crossover.
thought it was like, oh, that movie did so well. J.K. Rowling's like, I gotta put this guy in all of my books.
No, but I was sad because it's just one of those characters in those movies that you love a whole bunch.
Yeah,
So
I actually saw like as a non-Potterhead, I saw a thing that was from the HBO Max like reunion that where they're like it was taught he was talking about the movies and he's like, oh, you saw it too, where it was like,
yeah,
yeah, I won't be around 50 years from now, but Hagrid still will be. I'm like, that's a cool way of looking at it.
yeah, yeah, it was really nice. So wands up, as people say whenever a cast member dies. That's something they do in those books.
I gotcha.
But anyway, let's get into our news. So, disclaimer, folks, I had COVID last week and I am finally back to myself, but I was kind of just in another plane of existence for most of the week. So I didn't do much notes, news seeking, and I got as much comic reading done as I could. So my news is pretty pathetic, um, and not very exciting. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take the first one, Casey, because some of your stuff's way more talkative than mine.
Okay.
So we got our first look at Red Sonja for the Red Sonja movie. Did you happen to see that
I
screenshot?
didn't. I did not at all. How do you feel about it since you are the resident Sonya head?
You know, she looks like Red Sonja. I mean,
Good.
it's like it's like you see her, it's a shot of her back, and she's kind of doing like one of these things. So like you see like the side of her head and like her shoulder.
I gotcha.
Um, but she's got a cool pauldron. She's got red hair. So, I mean, so far, so good.
I gotcha.
Hopefully, uh, hopefully it's cool.
Right on, man. Okay, so my first bit of like little bit of news is like some Godzilla news that I'm going to share with you because like one thing I think the only person that might care would be Mike, and the other thing I just think is hilarious. I'll start with the one that's hilarious. This actually got announced today. There's this new promo video for Godzilla versus Evangelion, which there's been talks like the Shin universe and stuff. Super cool. And it's like the thing looks awesome. It's like this really neat promo video. If you get a chance, you're like, oh wow, there's like a Shin King Ghidorah in there too, and the Evangelion guy's doing whatever he does, and Godzilla's shooting, his like Shin beam, and it looks awesome. And then it's for a pachinko machine in Japan.
That is
Yeah,
hilarious.
I'm just like this. I mean, you can't even be mad about that. This is too funny. But then something that I think is kind of like I think is funny, and then this is the Mike news. So if Mike's listening right now, crank it up, you old geezer. But I don't know why I got so aggressive with them,
Don't
but
know.
like the Shogun Godzilla, like that toy that he had when he was a kid that he likes a lot.
Yep.
Well, Super 7 is actually coming out with, and it's actually up for pre-order now. It is coming out with a Shogun Mecha Godzilla. It's like a Mecha Godzilla design, and it shoots little finger missiles instead of its hand and stuff. Super cool looking. And now, for those that don't know, that don't collect Godzilla toys, the Shogun Godzilla can range from like beat up condition, like $200 is like the lowest I've ever seen it, to about like $800, probably even more than that. The Super 7 Mecha Godzilla is going for pre-order right now at 325. You're getting a collector's premium on that. And it's like it's one thing if you're paying like that money for like a super, like, oh, this looks like the suit from the movie, or it's like super articulating and all that different stuff. When it's just the Shogun Warrior designed to be kind of, to look retro type thing, and you're paying that much, that's just too much. That's crazy, in my
Right.
opinion.
I mean, I think anytime I see any Godzilla figure, the first thing that comes to my mind is that's crazy because it's
Yeah.
always expensive.
Well, like the funny thing is, it's like so there's this Mecha King Ghidorah that they SH Monster Arts is they're bringing it back because it's like when it sells out, people will then resell it for like about 4 times the amount. But the Japanese collectors are like crazy anal about it. So like those ones that are like the original ones that came out will still be super expensive, but like for the American collectors, they'll go down in price because they'll re-release it now and it'll be like $200 when it comes out. So like Mecha King Ghidorah came out and it's like pushing 300, but I'm like, that's a lot cheaper than that 700, maybe. But then like I always have to like kind of correct myself, like, no, that's still stupid. It's because they're about yay tall, and it's like,
Oh, really?
yeah, because I have the Mecha Godzilla and it's awesome looking, but I think I've shown it on here before.
Ah, yeah.
And it's
Looks
like,
great.
yeah, it's really cool. But when that's the go-to size, I'm just like, and the prices just for the SH monsters keep going up and up. So I'm like, I'll just stick to the old you know, like trend masters.
I looked up a picture of that Mecha King Ghidorah. Looks fucking sick.
Dude, it does, like it literally, like it looks so cool. But it's still like it's probably gonna be about yay, like top of the head.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, that's just it's hard to justify. But Mecha King Dora is just one of the coolest. But and I got some Shazam news, or not Shazam, Black Adam news I'll talk about. The Rock is pulling a lot of stuff out of his butt, first off, and he was like talking about Black Adam or the Shazam. He's like, he's gonna meet Shazam later on. He's not gonna do it in the first movie. We had to get Shazam's origin out of the way. You can't just have Black Adam showing up in that first movie. And it's like, and you can't have Shazam showing up in the first Black Adam movie. So they are going to meet, they are going to go, throw down, and it's going to happen. It's just not going to happen right away, which I'm like, that's cool. And another thing I saw, I didn't write this down in our notes either, but the actor that plays Hawkman was like, Hawkwoman isn't in this movie for like specific reasons. It's actually me, if they're able to do JSA stuff, that's gonna be more of a plot point later on. So I was wondering, would that like does that kind of excite you if they're gonna bring in Hawk Girl and whatnot?
Yeah. I mean, I like Hawk Girl. Um, yeah, I don't know. If they're gonna do JSA, I don't really know that she should be like a plot point of that. Um,
I don't know. He didn't really say JSA. I'm assuming JSA, but it might be a Hawkman, HBO Max thing or whatever.
right. Well, if that's the case, then yeah, I think it should be, or she should be.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
And do you think Shazam versus Black Adam would be fun?
Oh yeah, like I think that's gotta happen at some point.
Yeah. Like, I mean, one of the things I was thinking, and this is like a comic that I got when I was really young from an antique shop, but it was the like iconic cover of Black Adam in the middle and Captain Marvel and Superman coming at him. Do you think you will get, just Superman and Shazam taking on Black Adam at the same time?
Yeah, like I think if that's gonna happen, then Superman will be in it. I do.
Yeah. I hope they recreate that cover because that cover is super cool. And the last bit of news I didn't write down because like I saw this in Tractor as I was quitting, so I just didn't have time to write it down. This has other to do with Black Adam, but it's DC movie related. The Matt Reeves, like if he gets brought on to do more like another Batman movie, it's not for sure if he's going to because the script's not written yet. But if he does, the big thing that they're saying is he's also going to be doing some other projects like HBO Max projects. And then what they're saying it's going to include is Professor Pig, Scarecrow, and Clayface. So I think Professor Pig and Scarecrow in the Matt Reeves verse will be awesome.
for sure.
Clayface, it's kind of hit and miss. It depends on like since I after watching, I've talked about this before, the Casually comics, like the 15 different Clayface videos. It's the golden age Clayface because like that guy was like a dude that wore a mask that killed people. But the ones that are like the cartoon Clayface that everyone loves, I don't see that working in the Matt Reeves verse at all.
Yeah. Like all the live action Batman stuff is so, realistic. I would love to see more of those non-realistic supervillains. Um, but I just don't know that they'll do it.
That's my problem too with like the Matt Reeves verse and just any of these like ones where like we got to make this hyper real. It's like you don't. They're comic books. Marvel's proving, and you don't have to copy Marvel, but they're proving people don't care that much about realism if you just make good stories.
Yeah.
So I don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, Clayface, Mr. Freeze, Man Bat. I want to see some of that goofy stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, I could see Mr. Freeze working in a way in the Matt Reeves verse, but it still have like it would take away a lot of the stuff that makes Mr. Freeze great.
Yeah. So I saw today, I know we were talking about this a while back, but we've got our Thunderbolt Ross recast for Captain America 4, and that is Harrison Ford. I'm kind of shocked, honestly. But whatever.
Yeah. I'm not the like we made it kind of clear neither of us like this casting. So, it is what it is. But yeah, I don't know. No, don't have much to say besides like it'll be fun to see him in the MCU.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, uh, okay, so while I was sick, I was watching a lot of stuff just as a blob on the couch. Apart from like so much Naruto, um, which has been incredible. I got caught up on some of the MCU stuff I haven't seen. So I've now seen Shang-Chi, Eternals, and Ant-Man and the Wasp. So,
Which was your favorite?
um, probably Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Um, like I give that one a B. Um, Eternals probably a C. Like it wasn't the best, but I don't think it was like as bad as everyone said it was. And then Ant-Man and the Wasp, either a B or a C. Like it was
Yeah.
pretty good, but I didn't like it as much as the first one.
Yeah, I like Ant-Man and the Wasp a good deal. It's just like, yeah, you get by with Paul Rudd's charm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you know. So
And
yeah,
Evangeline Lilly is very pretty.
yeah. And so is Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yes, she is.
Still have a crush on her.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, just since we put up that tier list a while back, I wanted to
Yeah,
give the update.
I got you, man. Okay, so this is a stupid thing that I saw that made me laugh. I wanted to talk about it with you. Naked Gun is getting rebooted with Liam Neeson, which I hate that personally because it's like, first off, don't reboot something like that, and it's like there's no point in rebooting that. So, and then Liam Neeson is, and my brain's too fried to think of the amazing dude's name that was the original one. Oh
Leslie
shit.
Nielsen.
Yeah, Leslie Nielsen. Liam Neeson's no Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah, it's not gonna hit the same.
No.
And it,
And
it
we
wouldn't with anybody.
no, and it's also like the only way I think a reboot of that would work is if Leslie Nielsen was still alive and he was doing the reboot pretending to be a younger actor, like doing something stupid like that.
Yeah,
Because those movies are nonsense, and that's the only way that that would work. I mean, because like and that's the whole genre of movie too, though. Like with oh, we're just doing these, like parody of this one thing, and it doesn't work as a reboot. It's like just have Liam Neeson do this same movie, but have it be a parody of his Taken movies.
right.
Called Bacon. There you go.
Yep. I feel you, man. That's very strange to me. I'll just get my last one out of the way.
Okay.
I saw earlier today that um, the Constantine and the Madam X shows are getting shopped around by Warner Brothers and Bad Robot. And the quote was that they expect to find a new home for them both. As we've said before, Constantine, I don't see why it wouldn't be picked up somewhere, but Madam X, I just don't know about that one.
Madam X just reeks of like that would be the name of a show for a comic book character like in the 90s where they're like, "Oh, we got to change up the name just a bit so people think it's cooler than it really is."
Right,
You know what I mean? So
I
I
do.
I just don't get it. Okay, so my last bit of stuff, some of them all kind of clumped together. So I'm just going to start with this. Rumor has it Sasha Baron Cohen will be Mephisto in Ironheart. Is that very nice or not?
I mean, with the right makeup or whatever, I could see the look, you know. Um, but I really don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know enough of his stuff. I've seen Borat. I saw, unfortunately, one other of his movies where he's like interviewing people. Uh, and it was like the worst thing I'd ever seen. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not watching any more of this guy's movies, and I never have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
What
a
was that
huge
movie?
Bruno probably.
Bruno, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan. I've never seen Borat, but it's like his like I mean he was in Talladega Nights and he was funny in that. But like
Oh yeah, he was good in that. You're right.
yeah, and then like he did that dictator movie and stuff and it's like when you commit that much to whatever bit you're doing, he does it well. And it's like if he can do that level of commitment to play Mephisto, he would do it well. The problem is I have a feeling Marvel probably heard all of the rumors about Mephisto going around and they're like, won't it be funny if we do this little joke, thing with Mephisto and not actually keep it Mephisto? You know what I mean? I could see
Pull a
that.
Mandarin.
Yeah, 100% happening. So that's like my main trepidations toward it. But there was things where like fans have posted online where like they look way too much into Marvel stuff and think everything's connected, even though like half the time it's not. And they're like, look at Agatha's like, oh, it was like something, I think it was her necklace and her earrings, or not her earrings, but like something that she had. And it's like, and then look at the one of the producers on She-Hulk, and then like she had earrings with the same thing as her on her necklace and like something else witchy kind of going on her. So like, is it connected? It's like probably not, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't know, man. For those people, I say get a job.
I mean, it makes me think of that time. I don't know if you remember this, but it was like before Batman v Superman came out. You sent me this like person's like 10-page thesis on what was going to happen and how Ben Affleck wasn't Batman. He was actually Deathstroke. Christian Bale was Batman, was the real Batman, and he was going to come in and help Superman beat the Deathstroke Batman and stuff. And it's like none of that happened.
No. And they were so sure that it was. I don't know. Like I think it is fun to speculate, but at a certain point, it's like, dude, that calm down.
Yeah. And with a lot of the stuff with Marvel, when you hear about stuff where you're like, oh, they kind of came up with this last minute, it's always hard for me to be like, oh, yeah, you really think that they planned this from the start?
Right.
Okay, but now here's the last bit of news. This is exciting news and some crazy stuff going on, but rumors are going around that Flash will have a Superman meet we'll have Superman meet Supergirl, and then she's gonna be moved to the main universe. And Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck will also be both the new Batman of the main universe, just both kind of sharing it. That's the hot new thing going around. And then we're also going to be getting a new Superman movie starring Henry Cavill. Basically, The Rock got that happen. He laid the smacketh down on the execs at Warner Brothers Discovery to make it happen. He's like, we're listening to the fans. And so, yeah, that's pretty great. And then also, a Flash sequel has already been written because they're ready for that to be a, box office hit. And just to add to that, Ezra Miller may end up in jail for 26 years. So, with as long as it took for that this Flash movie to come out, maybe they'll have it ready for him, for them to star in when they get out. But that's my news, man.
Oh, it's crazy what some people get canceled for, and
Yeah.
Ezra's not getting canceled.
I think okay, so this is my theory on the whole canceled and not canceled thing. Because it kind of showed true with Donald Trump, and like Bill Burr brought this up on his podcast. If you don't care, you can't be canceled. Because like Ezra does all this crap, they bring it up, and then Ezra just keeps doing this crap. Just doesn't affect him. Same thing with like Trump, but people be like, "How could you do this?" And he's like, "I didn't do it." And they're like, "Here's proof." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I guess I did do it." Okay. It's just like he's like, well, whatever. This is just,
Right.
whatever. So it's
Yeah.
just the
I mean, fair
same thing.
point.
It's like if you don't care, then you have these other people where it's just like you didn't pick up your dog's poop, and like they may have to make it like a 50-minute apology video of them like just sobbing about it, and then like people are like, nope, you're dead to me for this.
Well, that is our news, folks. So I guess we'll take our ad break now. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some comics. Last week we had none in common. This week we've got a bunch in common.
We have
So,
a tut in common.
yes, we do. So, we will be right back. All right, man. What are we chatting about on the YouTube?
Oh, you don't you remember?
Oh, yes, yes, your conspiracy
Yeah.
theories.
Okay. So I was actually also going to talk about like tell a Bigfoot story and whatnot, but I'm like, we don't have time for that. It's too fucking late for that. So I'm just going to talk about like three different, like two and a half different conspiracy theories that I'm getting a visitor. Dog just pushed open the door, but no. So it's hilarious to me. There's this like weirdest dang conspiracy theory that I've heard about recently, and it's that William Shakespeare wasn't a real person. He
Okay.
was actually Sir Francis Bacon pretending to be Shakespeare.
Oh, why? Why? Why do they say that?
I don't know. I've not gone that deep into it. I'm just like, this is stupid and hilarious. And I'm like, it's also the best kind of conspiracy theory because there's those ones where it's like they get weirdly racist or anti-Semitic. Like the more you look into it, this one is just kind of like, yeah, Sir Francis Bacon, William Shakespeare.
Here's a question for you. At what point are you like starting to get convinced on some of these things? Like what needs to happen?
I mean, it just depends on which one. Like my big thing, I used to be like way more apt to believe them, but it's like hilarious. Like now I look at it as like, so just like Edward Snowden, he came out and he was like, oh, here's all these things that our government is doing that are terrible. And he told us all this stuff. But then like I'm supposed to now believe like, oh yeah, so you're trying to tell me that this conspiracy theory where our government is like running a child sex trafficking ring and then they kill the children afterwards and all this stuff, that's real and no one's coming forward about it. Like it's hard to buy that. But
Right.
like there was the JFK assassination. I heard it's listen to this podcast on there on it, and I'm like, I have my theories, and like this is I'm gonna go back to like the a story I heard about Trump, and then I'll talk about this because it kind of goes into the conspiracy theories. When Trump was running for president and he was going against all the different Republicans, they he was like, I'm gonna I'm gonna say Jeb's dad killed JFK because that's a prominent theory. Is because there's like this saying like there was three presidents in Dallas that day. It was LBJ, JFK, and Herbert Walker on the grassy knoll. Like that's because he was in Dallas. Like that's a fact. And so and like everyone like Trump's second, people that were like helping him, like, do not make that, don't say that about Jeb, because if he did, he probably didn't do it. But if he did, he's still ex-CIA. The CIA don't fuck around. They do lots of terrible things. I mean, like, look at all of the stuff they've done, all the governments they have overthrown, hiring Tom King, all of this stuff. They're just terrible people. You don't want to mess with them. And then Trump's like, oh, yeah, you're probably right. I'm going to say it about Ted Cruz instead. But yeah, so like the the theory on this podcast I was listening to that they had is that because like there was two bullets that got JFK, the magic bullet. And so their theory is that because like I guess the Secret Service guys all partied the night before. And so their theory was, oh, when the first shot went off, the Secret Service guy runs up and accidentally fired his gun, got JFK. But like, and it was all an accident, and they just covered it up. But my main problem with that though is like afterwards, LBJ, who did not like JFK, is seen like cheering with the Secret Service guys, and he's like all happy and stuff. It's like I really think LBJ just killed JFK. Like he had him killed. Like he had CIA ties. He had just had him 100% killed, and then just went about being president. And then like when fucking and like this is one of the things that really annoys me with the other guy I was going to talk about, JFK's brother RFK, when he was assassinated by Sohan, like the theory that the conspiracy theories have is fucking outlandish. Okay, they're like he was a Manchurian candidate. The Sohan it's like basically Winter Soldier, like he had the secret code in his head that made him snap and fucking shoot him. And then like the bodyguard, fucking put the final bullet in RFK, and that's some shit like that. And it's like that's a great theory. But then one of the guys that had this theory, because like Sohan, when he like takes lie detector tests, he always passes them. It's always like I don't remember any of this, all that shit. And so when the guy goes, he's like, yeah, and I talked to him, and I became really good friends with the actual guy that I think killed RFK along with Sohan. He didn't do it. He's I can tell by his character and the type of person he is, and we talk, and I know he's not lying to me. But I'm like, if you fucking think this guy over here got Manchurian candidated into becoming, the secret assassin of the next president, RFK, don't you think they could do two? It's like, no, only one. But it's too outlandish that there would be two of them.
Man, I all this stuff just seems like a very slippery slope.
It really is. And it's like it's one of those things too, though, where 9 times out of 10, it's the most obvious thing out there. Like there's this one where like there's like on this podcast they were doing it's last podcast on the left. I like they talking about this one theory, conspiracy theory, and like one of them's like really into it. He's like, and then you divide by it's doing the numberology stuff, and then like and then the other one that's like more skeptical, he's like, or they had to keep it an odd number so that when they did their voting, it wouldn't be a deadlock. And then he's like, oh, that doesn't work. Because it's almost like 9 times out of 10 you're always just like, oh no, it's more than likely the most obvious thing because our government's not ran that well.
Right.
Oh, one story I'm going to share, this isn't conspiracy theory related, but it's this like it's something that should be like, I think it's too ridiculous to ever be in a movie, but it's a real thing that happened. So I was listening to this podcast called it was like The Road to 9/11, and it's very good. But it was before the 9/11 attacks, but it was post the first bombing, you know? And so there's this, they knew that there was going to be these terrorists that were like Muslim extremists. They were going into these Muslim, not churches, but I don't know what the term is for their place of worship, but they were just kind of like turning these more extreme, turning these guys into more extreme Muslims. And this one dude was like, he actually went to the FBI. He's like, yeah, I don't think this is good. And then like, I think this is could lead to something bad. And they're like, go undercover for us. And so he's like, okay, he goes undercover and he meets this person. The guy's name was like the blind monk. This is like 2 years ago that I listened to this, so I might be getting some facts wrong. The dude's called the blind monk, and he's like pretty high up there, I think in Al Qaeda or like some terrorist organization similar. And he's planning an attack on the Twin Towers. And so he goes to him. He's like, this is what they're planning. And they're like, we can't do shit unless you have it recorded. So we're going to put this recording in a briefcase for you. So get a recording. He's like freaking out because he's just a regular fucking guy. And so he's like, okay, I'm going to do it. And so like he gets it, he gets them to say what they're going to say, but he just had it sit the briefcase sit next to him. He then goes and gets a hold of FBI guys like while he's there, and they're like, not good enough. We can't hear him. So then he gets all of the people that could see, because the blind monk, his name is Blind Monk because he's blind, gets them all to fucking leave. And then he holds the briefcase up to the blind monk's fucking face. And he's like, so what's the plan? And then he repeats it all. And then the FBI kick down the door and they, arrest everybody. And then like they have to arrest him too, and then afterwards, like he then goes on trial and he says everything that happened, and the blind monk got put in jail.
Dude, that could have gone so
I
wrong so
know.
many times.
I'm like, this dude, he's a fucking hero.
I wonder, like, what's he get? A medal for that?
I think he got paid too. I don't know like how much or anything like that, but yeah, I'm probably got probably got a medal, probably got paid, probably got, some recognition, but it was one of those things too that like sound like such a mess, just like the bureaucracy of presidents type thing, because it was like since Clinton's administration was doing this, when Bush came in, like because they were looking at these different people, this then when as soon as Bush came in, his people were like, oh, I don't trust Clinton's people, and then they're like, we'll do our own thing. And it was just like, just work together, guys.
That's insanity.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, anything else?
I mean, I want to talk about Sasquatch, but we'll save that for another day.
We can save it for next week.
Oh, okay, man. Unless something cool happens.
Yeah. All right. Welcome back, folks. On our exclusive YouTube break this week, Casey does, I'll say, a shallow dive into some fun conspiracy theories. And I thought it was all pretty interesting. So if you would like to hear Casey talk about that, then head on over to the YouTube. That's Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube.
And if you'd rather have me and Jake come over with like tinfoil hats and just like scream at your face about how, the fluoride in your water is actually making the government be able to track you everywhere you go, and then be like, no, you have to live with us and drink our urine because that's the only way. If you want to live your life like that, I'd recommend not. But if you want to, give us about 5 pounds of gold a piece, because gold is not, it's not traceable like our cash is, because our cash has little microchips in it placed by the Illuminati, and they'll and as they're following your every movement that way. Or you can just listen to YouTube.
Yeah, either or.
What'd you read this week, man?
So this week I read Batgirls 11, Batman Inc. #1, Daredevil 4, Jurassic League 6, Batman versus Robin 2, and Star Wars Visions 1. What about you?
I read a few bit more, mostly because I didn't have COVID. But I read Godzilla, Monsters and Protectors, All Hail the King. And I hope every time they make a new one, it's like gonna be like next one's like, All Hail the King. The King is Godzilla, or it's like just they keep adding to it because I think that'd just be really funny. Then I read DC's The Terrors Through Time, The Approach #1, Avengers, X-Men, Eternals, Judgment Day, Iron Fist, Do a Powerbomb #5, Ghost Rider #7, Hitome #1, Jurassic League 6 of 6, Daredevil 4, Batman Inc. 1, Batgirls 11, and Batman vs. Robin, almost said Superman, #2.
Well, take it away, man.
Will do. So Godzilla, Monsters and Protectors, All Hail the King by it's Eric Burnham and Dan Schuing on the art. I actually like this more than last issue. We get the Zillions in here and they're trying to figure stuff out. One of the Zillions is trolling our main character. I'm still not super hot on the art. It's a little too cartoony for me, but this was just and like the story itself is pretty cartoony, but I don't know. This was a lot more fun. I enjoyed it a lot more than I did the last series. It's just a good time. I'm actually gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. And then since I do have a good bit more, I'm just gonna keep going for a bit more. So the DC's Terrors Through Time. I'm normally really like take a long time on these anthology books because like, we like to talk about them a lot. This one doesn't have a lot to talk about. That was good, so I'm not gonna share that much about it. But there was a Phantom Stranger story that was pretty neat. There's a Super Son story that was just okay. And yeah, so we got Paul Levitz writing the Phantom Stranger story. Super Sons was by Sholly Fish and Lucino Vecchi. Gotham City Sirens and the Puyo Promise by Peter V. Newigan. Swamp Thing and Half-Life by Zach Thompson and art by Andy McDonald. The Justice Society of America in the Midnight Hour by Charles Skaggs and Tom Mandrake. The Green Lanterns in A New Darkness, Jeremy Hahn and Juan Doe. Etrigan in Blood, Lost and Found by Matthew Levine, Jorge Corona. And Damien and the Dead Man and The Haunting of Wayne Manor by Tim Seeley and art by Kelly Jones. So yeah, the Phantom Stranger story was pretty fun. I love the Phantom Stranger though. I think they should start using him more and more like the Watcher, like have him be DC's Watcher. I think that'd be cool. Then the Super Sons Trick or Treat was just kind of so. It's kind of like I miss John being young, and I also miss Damien being young. It seems like when they aged up John, they also were like, well, let's age Damien up, so it's not near as weird that they're friends. Gotham City Sirens one was not very. I couldn't get into it. The art was good, but the story, I just did not. I just was like, oh boy, lines of witty banter from Harley and all of them, and I just couldn't get into it. The Swamp Thing, it was fine. Didn't do much for me. The Justice Society of America one was pretty cool. It had, though, it had the Atom in it, and is there a lamer superhero than Golden Age Atom? Like honestly,
No.
it's like I'm short and I punch.
And I wear brown.
Yeah. See, like I'm not gonna lie. I think his costume for the most part pretty cool. Like it's a solid costume, but it's like, wow, dude, you're lame. Like you are so lame. But you'll like it. You'll like this story mostly, Jake, because Dr. Midnight, I'd say he's a MVP for this story. Like he
Nice.
really helped. He really makes sure they're all okay. And it's a lot of cool stuff. This one was pretty good. It has one of those things though, it's kind of frustrating where it's like the end question mark. This is never gonna get touched again. This is a random story in a Halloween book. It's not gonna no one's it is the end. And then Green Lanterns and New Darkness. This was neat. We get this new lantern I've never seen before with this other lantern that has mastered
Thank God,
willpower.
a new lantern.
I know. And it's a new human lantern where it's like, oh, where'd you come from? But and this other lantern, it's like he's got both green and red rings and he's mastered both of them. and they fight this monster. The monster kills the red and green lantern guy. The girl, the girl one goes off and then she's like, I'm gonna go get the other ones. And it's like the end. It's like, again, this is like, you're not telling me what this is gonna get picked up in. So what's the point of ending things like this? Like I was actually interested in that because the Green Lanterns are cool for the most part. So I was like, oh, cool. And then it's like, oh, okay. Then the Etrigan story is pretty neat. He fights this demon that's stealing kids, and then he like knocks, crushes the demon under all these rocks. But the demon's like, oh, I'll be back. This will just be a nap for me. And so then like it ends with him like 599 years later. Blood's just standing there waiting for the demon, and like the demon, it's like, what how? He's like, it's about time. And then he turns back into Etrigan, and that's how it ends. Like that's pretty
Nice.
sweet. And then the Damien the Dead Man story, like I'm not gonna lie, I am not a fan of Kelly Jones's art. It does not do it for me. The story's fine. It's like, since this feels like a very early on Damien story, so like it's when Damien was at his worst, So like that's my main problem with it. Outside of the art, Tim Seeley does a good job of capturing that form, version of Damien, but it also kind of shows how much Damien's grown as a character. But yeah, overall, I would say skip it. I would say, Jake, while you're at work, flip through it if you get bored, because the Justice Society story I think you'll like, and some of the other ones. But all in all, it's really not worth it, especially not that $9.99 price tag. So I'm gonna go actually with a 4.5 out of 10.
All right. Sounds like a real winner this week.
Well, and then I'll do two more before I let you do yours, and then I'll do my last three. So Iron Fist, and this is by Alyssa Wong and Michael Yeague. I'm assuming that's how you say his name. With it's Michael Yeague and Marika Cresta on the art, and you get Loki and Iron Fist teaming up. They have to do these labors basically that a Celestial makes them do. I like it. It's like the only real knock that I have on this story, and I wish you would have read it so we could talk about it, is Loki doesn't feel like the same Loki we get in Thor. He feels like this would be a Loki that's like in a Loki book, like if Loki had a book on trying to think of what would like when he's like teen Loki for president or like that, like it would seem like they're taking that Loki, not our current Loki. Other than that, really liked it. It's like a really solid story. It doesn't, like, it feels like we missed an issue almost though between the last issue Iron Fist and this. Like that's another like thing that kind of annoys me. It like, because the last issue, like it seemed like Danny Rand was gonna hang out with him, and they were gonna be like, and this one is just him on a. It starts with like first Loki talking to his brother, and then him on a plane, flying, and it's like, oh, okay. I thought he's just like, see you, Danny, and it took off like after Danny was gonna help him. It's like that was kind of disjointing, but at the same time, like I have a feeling Alyssa Wong was told to write this in a way that be new reader accessible. So I have a feeling
Yeah.
she was just like, we'll start it off this way. So like I can't hold it against her that much, but still, as someone that actually read that last one, it's a little annoying. So yeah, I'm gonna probably go 7.5, like just a solid 7.5. Not like even like leaning more towards 8, but just 7.5.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would recommend it for you, Jake, since I have a feeling there's gonna be stuff that you're gonna be like, I'm kind of lost in this, after time, next time. All right.
Right.
And then lastly, it's The Approach by Jeremy Hahn and Jason A. Hurley, and illustrated by Jesus Hervas and Leia Caballero. And so yeah, you get this like big snowstorm, and they, it's like, oh, kind of setting up the scene of the snow plane coming in during this big snowstorm. So they're all just going to be stuck at this small airport, and then this other plane crashes, and oh, there's a dead body, and like it's kind of weird. And then like the way the last page ends, you're like, holy crap. Because prior to that, I was getting a lot of The Thing vibes. If you've not seen John Carpenter's The Thing, it's kind of that vibe. But now after the way it ended, I'm like, I don't know where this is going, but I'm 100% here for the ride. I'm really into this book. Thought it was really cool. The only downside is I might forget the name on the emails when Jake sends them out. I'm like, what the hell is the approach, and why is there five of them already? And that's the only downside to this book. I really, really liked it. I'm gonna give that a 9.5 out of 10. It's a very good first issue.
Excellent. I thought about picking that one up.
I think you'd like it. It's a slow first issue, but it's like an interesting job of building everything up, if that makes sense. Like it's just them like getting stuff ready, and then you're like the last couple of pages is when stuff happens, but you're still like they do a good job. It's not just boring nonsense.
Right.
For at least it wasn't for me.
Right on. All right. So Star Wars Visions #1. It's written and drawn by Takashi Okazaki, uh, who is the creator behind Afro Samurai. And this issue is awesome. I think it's just a one shot because there was like nothing at the end that said continued in or whatever, which is a real shame. But it's just like a lone Sith kind of Ronin type who comes across an old blind Jedi master, and they meet at this like hot spring, and I don't know, you kind of think shit's gonna go down, but then it doesn't. They just kind of have like a nice time, and they go about their ways, which doesn't sound very exciting, but it is. And also just like look at this art.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
So highly suggested if you like Ronin type stories and or Star Wars. I give it a 9 out of 10. It's really good.
Right on. Pick of the week.
No, it wasn't.
Okay. Okay, so next up, it's Do a Powerbomb #5 by the incomparable Daniel Warren Johnson. And so, yeah, we get a little bit of like it starts with one of the people that are facing off against our main characters, where it's like, oh, their backstory, like, oh, her kid's gonna die, and that's why she's doing this to bring him back. But I'm still like, they went out of their way to cripple people last issue. I really have trouble, being like, oh man, it's gonna suck if they lose. But then like it's like, oh, they're setting up for the death match. And this is another thing that kind of like made me laugh. Like Daniel Warren Johnson knows more about wrestling than me. I know this because I follow him on Twitter and Instagram. But there's a part when what's his name? The main guy, he's like, you heard me. I want a no disqualification, barbed wire, ladder, falls count anywhere, death match. And a ladder match, like if you're just doing a no disqualification match, you can just have ladders in it. A ladder match is always like a ladder match is where they set the ladder up. You have to set the ladder up and get the thing, whatever it is that's in the usually title out of the thing. So just calling it a ladder match when there's actually nothing ladder about it except for we got a ladder, it's kind of redundant. But at the same time, Daniel Warren Johnson really likes Japanese wrestling. They have crazy deathmatch names for stuff, so it might be something from that. But it also could just be he's like, I'm just going to toss this name in there because American, people that watch wrestling back in the '90s would remember the Hardy Boys jumping off ladders. So I'm just going to do this. But yeah, like that was one thing I was like, that's kind of weird. But they do this. I'm gonna make a pretty hot take that no one does action sequences better in comics today than Daniel Warren Johnson. Like so good. Just the way he does his like look at these. Look at these. Like this is how the whole book basically is with its action.
Yeah.
Out of this world. And yeah, I'm not gonna talk about really the what happens in the match, but stuff happens. I'm curious to see where the series goes from here. But yeah, I'm gonna probably give this issue a 9 out of 10. It's a great time, and everyone should be reading this book. Then Ghost Rider by Benjamin Percy for sure. And then Corey Smith on the art. We get a new Ghost Rider villain. So this is a first appearance, it looks like. Get a hold of it if you want the first appearance of, I think his name's Exhaust. Boy, can't wait for him to be in the MCU.
Wow. Exhaust, huh?
Yeah.
Can't wait for carburetor.
His exhaust and carburetor, the brothers of hell. Uh, but yeah, no, this is a good issue. I like it a lot. I like this series a lot. Benjamin Percy's a great writer, especially when he doesn't have to work in X Swords of 10 or whatever that book was called. Um, so yeah, I like this series a lot. I'm sad you didn't love it as much as I did the one issue you picked up. But yeah, man, I'm gonna probably give this 8.5 out of 10. It didn't grip me as hard as they have in the past, but it's still really good. And then Hitome. This is by HS Talk with art by Isabella Mazzanti. And the art is stellar in this book. Like, look at that.
Yeah. Like I
No,
said, I picked it up and flipped
yeah,
through it and was like, I need this just to get to it.
yeah. And the story is very interesting, very cool. I'm very much invested in where this goes. I'm not going to talk about it too much. I honestly think I probably said too much to you when we were talking off air, but it's very, very good. The main character, I like her. I'm very interested into seeing where this goes, and I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. And this is my pick of the week. If Comic Headquarters has any more, pick it up.
They do.
You heard it here first, folks. Start texting Jake right as you're hearing this. Go, get me a copy of Hitome. I don't know how to spell it because Casey pronounces words weird. What order do you want to do these in, man?
Oh, let's go Jurassic League, Batman Inc., Batgirls, Batman versus Robin, and then Daredevil. We'll
All
leave the
right.
sole Marvel for last.
Yeah.
All right, Jurassic League number 6, final issue. It's written by Daniel Warren Johnson and Juan Gedeon with art by Juan Gedeon. I'm glad that this is over. I really wasn't feeling even this one, dude. And I don't know, man. Like it was fine. It was fine. But this book ain't it, as the kids say nowadays.
Yeah, see, I'll say I respectfully disagree. I think this issue was a solid end. I think it was a lot of fun. Um, yeah, I mean, it's weird. I think so much helps when Juan Gedeon does the art because it's like it's just such a better book, even story wise, when he's doing the art. That other art that was in here, it was just, and I hate just keep bringing it up, but it's just so sloppy. It made everything just, it made the story less interesting, and I just did, it took away a lot of the fun. I just had fun reading it, and that's kind of what you expect from this book. So I have a feeling we're gonna have different grades on this one.
Yeah. Um, I'm probably like a 5 for me.
I'm about 7.5, but a high 7.5. Okay. And then one that I wasn't hot on, Batman Incorporated by Ed Brisson and John Timms. So this is a funny my nephew's story. Back when he was a kid, he like the Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated show was on, and he couldn't pronounce incorporated, so he'd go Mystery Incorporated, and mom would be like, "What do you want to watch? Mystery Incorporated." And like and finally she understood. But yeah, it's just funny. What do you think of this, man?
I actually thought it was all right. I
Yeah,
the only thing that I don't really care for is like I feel like I forget what the other book was, but I thought Jiro was like not on board in another title. And it's just sort of conflicting between titles, who's in and
Yeah.
who's not. But I don't know. Other than that, I thought it set up something interesting other than just I don't know, like going around and killing all the teachers thing. Like I just got to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I mean, that didn't interest me too much. And then it was also like just I don't know, this the way that they're all acting, I don't like where they're like, oh, I don't like this ghost maker. I could do this better. And like it's just I'm like, boy, then just don't be in the group. Like no,
Right.
it's so stupid. It really annoys the hell out of me. And yeah, and then like they're supposed to be like Batman level guys, and they all are near. And I know these people trained the Batman, so they should be different, but it's still like they're just having all sorts of trouble with them, and I don't know. It's just I was more just annoyed with it as I was reading it because like I also don't even like the whole like they're killing the old teachers and this is someone that Ghostmaker and Batman knew from way back in their past. It was their third best friend, and it's just one other. I'm like, how many more people are there?
Right. I will say this, whenever I got to the last page, I was just like, oh, it like I flipped the next page ready for more. And I was
You're
like,
like
oh
Harley
wait. And
Quinn?
I go back and it's like, oh, it says to be continued very lightly down in the corner.
Yeah,
It's just like, why did they end it like this?
yeah.
Anyway, perfectly average for me. I'll probably give it one more go. 7 out of 10.
I'm probably not gonna give it another go because I didn't like the other Batman Inc. story that they had, the backup or whatever. So for me, it's probably gonna be a 4.5 or maybe a 5. But yeah, it was just a bit of a letdown. And also, I hate this Harley Quinn's like backup that we're getting and everything because they're like, we really need you to buy this book.
Yeah, and I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
it's like,
really not.
boy, guys, I have no interest.
Like I like Mark Silvestri, but it's like, dude, we do not need another Batman and Joker and Harley book. Like,
Right.
whew.
Or hey,
Anyway,
if you're gonna do it, at least make it like, a romantic comedy.
yes, for
Don't just make
sure.
it another dark and gritty thing. Make it silly.
But no, they have to put delivers his dark and brutal Gotham
Yeah.
opus. It's like, all right. Anyway.
Another one.
So next we've got Batgirls 11. It's written by Becky Cloonan and Michael W. Conrad with Neil Googe on the art. And, again, another solid Batgirl story.
Yeah, this book is a great book. The art in it, not my favorite at times. Mostly, Steph looks like a background character in Archie at times. Like Archie comics, it'd be like she'd be swooning for Archie, but Archie didn't even know she exists because she's that, like plain.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
other than that, I really love this. Like, and oh, the one other thing is that part with Cass and then the little girl. Like, I think it's funny and cute, but at the same time, where like the little girl's like, "Is this Batman related?" It's like, how do you know? Is it just a kid thing, and Cass is just going along with it, which very well could be, you know. But yeah, that was the other thing that kind of annoyed me.
Well, I'll
But
say this. I don't know anything about Gotham Academy, which that character is from.
oh,
So
I
maybe,
didn't know she was from that. So that
well, it says so right on the
oh,
cover.
oh, okay, my bad. See, I didn't
So
read that.
yeah, there could be something there that I just don't understand.
Yeah.
But even so, very, very good. The art is the only reason I'm not gonna give it a 10, so it'll be a 9 for me.
Yeah, I'm probably at 8.5. There and then the Riddler at the end, it's like he's not actually gonna try to fight them, is he?
Right, because what's he gonna do?
Yeah.
Other than get one shotted by Cass.
Yeah, it's like I mean, I could see him being like, I'm gonna fight Steph. Like he'd still get beat. But and also Steph's nice, so she might let him get like a hit in, you know? It's like
Right.
Cass is just like, oof, buddy, don't do this.
Yeah.
Okay, Batman vs. Robin, number 2 by Mark Waid with Muhammad Asrar on the art. I like this. It's just interested in everything that's going on. I like that they go to that house, the one house, see all the stuff. It
They go
was
to
just
both houses, sir.
both houses?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
They do the House of Mystery and the House of Secrets.
Oh, I forget that there's two separate things. Okay, what do you think though?
It was cool. I like the references to all those, plus the reference to the Witching Hour comic, which is where that one other gal is from. I'm blanking on her name.
Oh, I gotcha.
Um, but anyway, yeah, it was cool. I like the art a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, there's like a lot going on in this issue, but I think that Mark Waid keeps it pretty well balanced. The only thing is there at the end, I'm a little sad that this one character is actually just a ruse, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny though, because it's like I had a gut feeling, okay, that this character wasn't gonna, like what was going on was going on. Not so much, not so many words, but like I was like, yeah, it's probably not gonna be that. And then it's like when it's revealed, I'm like, doesn't make it hurt any less, Mark.
Yep,
Doesn't make it hurt any less.
it's exactly how I felt, dude. It's like, oh man, because we just have that sliver of hope that he is
Yeah.
coming back. And also I wanted to say I think it's cool that Mark gave Damien his Batman
Yep.
666 Batman costume. Super cool.
Did you ever read that issue? Super good issue.
I haven't. I actually got one in at the shop 2 weeks ago and it sold in less than a day.
Is that like a hot issue?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. I sold it for like $40.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And that's the only one I've ever seen in person, dude.
That's funny because because that's when I was getting them subbed. So I have it somewhere, not bagged and board, probably really beat up because I read it a lot. So
Yeah.
not getting $40 for that one.
No. No, it's an iconic cover though.
It is.
All right.
What was your rating on that one?
Oh, yeah, probably like another 9, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It might be pick of the week.
Okay. I'm probably at a 9.5. I liked it a good bit too. That was pretty great.
All right, which leaves us with Daredevil number 4. And that's written by Chip Zdarsky with art by Rafael De La Torre. I thought this was pretty great, personally.
Same
Like
here, man.
like this, it's getting better with each issue, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. Also, Daredevil's ninja costume is off the chain, in my
Yep.
opinion.
Like the the costume designs for both of the Daredevils, they're just wonderful. Whoever came up with them just deserves a raise. It's like they're the exact opposite of Jim Lee's character designs.
Yep.
And the story is cool. The fact that we get Dr. Sasquatch in this is like great. I mean,
I
it's
saw
fun.
that and I thought, I bet Casey really likes this.
Yeah, I'm glad they brought him back because I mean, it's someone that read every issue of that damn Immortal Hulk. It's nice that it's like actually being carried over by somebody since Donny Cates is like, no, thank you. And so it's cool that way. And I really enjoy it. I just love Daredevil too. It's just so good. I wish Batman was this good.
Yeah, I know, right? Also, I know we've said it before, but like if you're gonna get somebody to guest for Chichetto, this guy's it.
Yep, so good, and just all around, just a great series.
Yeah.
Basically, if you're not reading Daredevil, why not? Do you not listen to us? So you're just like, Casey's been crazy this whole time. Jake wouldn't love it. And it's like, oh wait, Jake loves it too. What are you doing?
As we're talking about it and I'm flipping through it looking at it, I was like, oh yeah, this was the pick of the week.
Yeah,
So this one gets a 10 for me.
it's a 10 for me. Also, it would have been my pick of the week, but Hitome was like, I was not ready for it to be that good.
Yeah. And I'm sure in retrospect, I'll probably change my answer again.
Yeah. And maybe you won't. Maybe you'll be like, what is Casey talking about? This is terrible.
All right. So do you have your list up?
I'm pulling it up right now. But what are you excited about next week, man?
So for me, I think, I'm pretty interested in that Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I'm gonna give that a shot.
Now,
Um,
who is that one?
that's Taboo and B. Earl, where
Oh, okay.
Spider-Man's in LA fighting Demon Bear.
I'll lie.
LA. So I'm gonna say that one. I feel like it's been a while since we had a Moon Knight. So I'm excited for Moon Knight. And then Immortal Red Sonja. You all know how much I love that book. So I'm gonna go with those.
Right on. For me, it's gonna be Flash. Uh, I'm gonna go Rogues, and then the Blue Wall. I'm like, I don't think it's gonna be good. I think I'm gonna be just let down, but at the same time, I'm like, it could be really interesting. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt for the fifth time, and I'm gonna hope for the best.
I love
Because
that every time he gets a book, they always gotta throw that Academy Award winner.
yeah,
And it's like, but how many, Eisners does he have?
yeah.
Because it doesn't translate.
Though I will say, like I guess his I Am Batman is has gotten good.
Yeah, whenever he goes to New York, I hear is when it really gets good. But
Yeah.
like
Future
I
State was just not good.
I hated it so much that
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give it a chance.
Yeah. Because like there's people like I'm on this Facebook group where they talk about comics and stuff, and then someone posts about that, and like someone was like, "Oh, this is so bad," and another guy's like, "It's clear you haven't been reading it because I've read every issue, especially." I'm like, and I comment, I'm like, "Okay, I read from Future State." And the Future State was not very good. Does it get better? He's like, yeah, his regular title after Future State was actually has been really good. So I'm like, I mean, if I ever go strictly digital, I'll probably check it out that way. But otherwise, I probably won't because I don't want those books sitting around that I'm not ever gonna even want to look at again if I don't like it,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, for sure.
But okay, man. Fantastic Four time. Same stuff as last time. Consultant on a what four consultants would you want on a Green Lantern movie?
Sure. Now I know at least one of these is on your list too. Ron Mars. Uh
He can't be on mine
oh,
because
who'd you?
he was on Superman.
Oh, Superman. Okay. Well, then I'm gonna use him. I don't like full disclosure, folks. I've read one Green Lantern series, and I'll get to that writer at the end. So this could mean nothing, but I know that Ron Mars wrote that Kyle Rayner series that people like. So I'm gonna go with him. Also, I'm gonna say Charles Soule because apparently that Red Lantern stuff he did was really awesome. And for an artist, I'm gonna go with Dave Gibbons. He was like an early 2000s artist on Green Lantern, and his stuff's awesome. And then the one series I did read, which was great, was by Robert Venditti. That was Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern Corps. I was like, holy shit! Like I wish that he wrote more Green Lantern because I would definitely
Yeah.
check it out. And
I
yeah,
wish he
that's my
did more
four.
DC stuff. He
Yeah,
hasn't like what's he doing? He's doing that one book for your favorite comic book company, and that's it that I know of.
yeah. He did Hawkman and was like, uh,
Yeah. Okay, but for me, Daryl Banks is one of my artists because he did a lot of stuff with Ron Mars that I really like. Does a lot of really cool designs, and then uh, so Priest under his uh, pen name or whatever. I actually wrote Green Lantern. He did. I think it was Emerald. It was Emerald Dawn, I think. And so I'm gonna put Priest in there. I love Priest. I think he can just nail the character. Vendetti for sure. And then I'm gonna go Judd Winnick because he wrote a lot of Kyle Rayner that I have. And so I don't know how well received it was, but it's a lot of stuff that I've read growing up. So I'm going with that. Like I have a love for Green Lantern, but it's like when I actually think about like the good Green Lantern runs, I don't have a lot that come to mind. Because I
yeah.
didn't like a lot of the Jeff Johns stuff because it's just like it was just like, oh, let's just put more rings out there. Why not just do that? It's like, why not do something that makes sense instead of being like, willpower is emotion. I don't know if that's how he sounds, but that's how he sounds in my head.
I think it's hilarious that we both had to come up with four people for Green Lantern and we don't choose Jeff Johns, who wrote
Yeah.
it for 10 years.
Yeah. It was like one of those ones where because I started with his and it was kind of boring to start. And so I kind of dropped it. Then I was like, the Sinestro Corps War happened. I'm like, this is pretty cool. And I was all in from then on. And then Brightest Day happened because like Blackest Night happened. I'm like, oh, this is gonna change everything. And then Brightest Day, and then just Brightest Day happened. I'm like, oh, it's more of the same shit. Never mind, I'm done.
Yeah. And like going back now, I'm just like, it's too much. Like it's too, I'm not going to sit down and read like a decade's worth of stuff when I
Yeah,
don't know if I'm going to like it.
yeah, it's also I don't know. It's one of those things too. When I was reading it, where it was just like we had the Green Lantern Corps, and then we had Sinestro with the yellow ring for so long. And that was it. And then it's like Sinestro was like, I'm making my own core. And then like everyone else is like,
It sounds
it's
a
like
lot like my Skeletor.
I was trying to channel my inner Stan Lee, but and then everyone else is like, me too. And then so like we got the Blue Lanterns because Ganthet was like, I don't want to deal with you other Green Lantern Guardians. Eat my butt. He went away and did his own thing. And then the like Larfleeze is like, hey, guess what? I'm alive too, and I got orange power, but you can't have it because I'm greedy. And then the Red Lanterns are like, I'm really angry. I've been around for a while, and I made this, and I'm gonna give it to everybody else. And then they're like, oh, and guess what? The Star Sapphires, they're actually a ring too. It's love.
wasn't the wasn't the Atom one or something?
Oh yeah, he because in Blackest Night, all the superheroes got one, and he was the Indigo tribe because they don't have rings; they got staves because they're a tribe. And
And
it's
he
like,
and he was shirtless and sexy.
yeah, and it's the good Adam though,
Sexy Atom.
the one that grows small, not punches things.
Right. Okay. And I think that is the end of the episode.
Yeah, I mean, I think I spent a little too much long on my feelings towards Jeff Johns' run on Green Lantern.
That's okay. This is a discussion. There's
When
microphones. That's what we do.
he's gonna end up blocking our Two Worlds podcast Twitter too, not just my regular one.
All right, guys, closing plugs, if you would. Please go to facebook.com/2worldspodcast and give the page a like. You can also follow us on Twitter at 2_worlds_PC and on Instagram at 2worldspod. You can email us at 2worldspodcast@gmail.com. And if you would, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's 2worldspodcast on YouTube.
And leave us a comment down below about who like your favorite moment from Jeff Johns' run on Green Lantern. If you didn't have any, say, Casey, you handsome bastard, you're right.
And there you have it, folks. And you know, we'd love to stay in chat, but Casey has to win me in a game of cards down at the pub. So we'll catch you next time. Bye, guys.